Well, we've enjoyed another exciting Hull derby. It set us up nicely for what's coming right now. On the 16th of November 1895, the battle lines were first drawn between St Helens and Wigan. In 2016, they go head-to-head for the 346th time. Let's check out the teams and the way they will line up here at sun-drenched and capacity-filled at Langtree Park. It's a long-awaited full debut in St Helens colours, first of all for the French international Theo Fage, who replaces Jordan Turner at standoff. Turner misses his first game of the season, left out of the side. Jack Owens hasn't been too well all week, but he's fit enough to take his place on the wing. In the forwards, they've got Lama Tazi starting at prop, having been on the bench for the last 5, and with Televe being out injured, Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook moves back into the starting lineup, having been a try-scoring substitute at Leeds last week. And the subs this afternoon include James Roby as Travis Burns starts at hooker, and Alex Walmsley gives way in the starting 13. He too will come off the bench. For Wigan, it's virtually the same side that lost its 100% start and its long unbeaten home record against Widnes last Friday. Same again in the backs. Dan Sargentson continues at full-back for the third game in a row. No one has played more times for Wigan against Saints than Sean O'Loughlin. The skipper's in his 15th season with his only club, and he's played in 3 different positions already this year. Just the one change up front, Liam Farrell out injured. That's compensated by the fact that Joel Tompkins makes his first appearance of this campaign, having picked up a knee injury in a pre-season friendly against Salford. The bench, well, as you see, it is virtually unchanged. Quite a day for Nick Gregson. When he gets on, he only made his Super League debut a fortnight ago. So it's set up brilliantly, isn't it, for this 364th meeting. It is Rugby League's oldest rivalry. It's the 21st Super League meeting at Easter. St Helens have won 9, Wigan have won 9. There have been 2 draws. Really nothing to choose between the two sides down the years. Wigan claimed their 200th win against St Helens last Good Friday at the DW Stadium. They won 12 points to 4, but they've been beaten in subsequent meetings here, 30 points to 14 and 18-14 in the Super 8s at the back end of last year. There's a big crowd here. There always is when these two tangle. It's a full house. And Sean O'Loughlin, John Wilkin about to lead their men out onto the field. Brian Carney, we are waiting. The weather is set fair. This should be a fantastic feast.
You just love the opportunity to be one of those players exiting the tunnel in front of a massive crowd. Brilliant weather. The atmosphere set fair for what should be a ferocious battle, Eddie. I'm looking at the 2 benches in particular. I don't expect this game to let up for 80 minutes. You can see lips coming from both coaches. Walmsley and Roby to come off the bench for Kieran Cunningham, St Helens, and Sean Wayne. Well, he can have gone with a bigger pack many times. Massive Tautai, Sutton and Gregson all available for him. Should the tempo ever drop in this game, the coaches have opportunities galore to lift it up again, entertain this huge crowd, and hopefully get the 2 points for their respective teams.
Well, the weather couldn't be better for this Good Friday battle between Saints and Wigan. Saints in the traditional white with the red V, and Wigan, as you see, changed into their blue and white hoops. The big match referee, and it's a testing 80 minutes for any of the officials, and same must be said for Robert Hicks here today. Sean O'Loughlin operating at standoff, his 7th appearance of 2016, 3 different positions played for the Wigan skipper. A linchpin for them, and Matty Dawson. There's no Percival, there's no Swift, and there's no McAlorum for Wigan. That was Sam Powell you saw there. And Theo Fage, what a day to make your full debut. 2 substitute appearances previously. Theo Fage goes up against Tony Clubb and Wigan on his full Super League debut. This is usually very, very special. They have watched as Castleford and Leeds and Hull and Hull Kingston Rovers have entertained us royally. And here we go. We are underway with Makinson's high kick-off into the sunshine. Gelling was underneath that kick-off. Saints with a great charge from the kick. And there's the first tackle of the match. The only thing missing today is my old mate Steve-O, who is still recovering. He gets some physiotherapy, I'm told, next week. Lord help the physiotherapist, and let's hope that he's back up on his pins in the not too distant.
serious in that, Eddie, isn't there? World's toughest jobs. Both of these players have tough jobs. They have to bounce back from defeats last time out in Super League. This start will help the Wigan Warriors. A penalty awarded by the referee early on. Gelling a handful. You've got to try and lock up the ball. He will try and get it away. St Helens have the bigger recovery to do, though, Eddie. They were very disappointing in defeat against Leeds. Wigan Warriors good for 40 minutes against Widnes. The Vikings came home strongly in the second 40. The St Helens, much more improvement in them. Sean Wayne, defensively very good this season. Their attack will need to sharpen up today.
Tony Clubb will take the ball forward here. Wigan with the possession after the first penalty of the match. That's a great scamper from dummy half by Sam Powell. Pulled down by Travis Burns. Dan Sargentson. Sargentson gets the ball away, and it's kept alive. It was Joel Tompkins, his first touch in Super League this year. Neat little bit of work on the hands there by Sargentson. Oh, and that was Bateman, who was missed completely by Dominic Peyrou. But fortunately for Peyrou, there was plenty of reinforcements close at hand. It's with O'Loughlin. He just drops the ball up over the top. Alan McDonnell and Tommy Makinson disputing who would get that. Makinson comes out better. And Burns from dummy half. Here comes Peyrou again. That right thigh of his heavily strapped. Wakefield and Huddersfield's underway. A 3 o'clock kickoff, 6 apiece in that one. Here it's 0-0. Remember earlier on today, Hull FC won the local derby in the city of Kingston upon Hull with 22 points in the last 20 minutes to turn around a 20-0 deficit. And last night, Castleford beat the Leeds Rhinos, the champions. So we've had drama and high excitement already this Easter, and there's more to come here, I'm sure.
A typically fast start there from Wigan, both with and without the ball, but too quick here. Not waiting for the ball to be played cleanly, and the defenders offside. I think it's a huge relief because St Helens in the first 2 minutes looked a touch nervous, I suppose. They conceded the penalty, they were on the back foot, and the speed of the play of the ball for Wigan was just too much for the Saints to cope with. But they were relieved here now to have their first chance with the hands on the ball in their opponent's half.
Saints have won all 3 home games so far this year against Huddersfield, Castleford and Wakefield. They lost to the Roosters, of course, in the World Club Series. But in Super League, they have been unbeatable on home soil. And this is Shannon McDonnell. He's brought down by Gelling's tackle. He played the ball quickly there to Jack Owens. He's getting his first taste of this unique atmosphere. So is Theo Farge. Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook will drive it into the chest of Sean O'Loughlin. He wants to get up and play the ball quickly. He was just prevented from doing that slightly. Good ball from Walsh into centre field. It's Lama Tazi who is pulled down 8 metres shy of the posts. Travis Burns at hooker. He gets it away to Walsh. Walsh then flicks the ball back inside. Theo Farge is quick to the ground and beats Sam Powell to it. St Helens have reached the last tackle here, so expect the kick from Walsh. It comes wide, looking for Tommy Makinson. Charnley's underneath it as well. It comes off whose fingertips? I think it's Charnley. It's a goal line dropper.
Well, great pressure there from St Helens going for that last kick. You know, Anthony Gelling did well on the far side of the field. As we see, the ref's made a call. It's come off Josh Charnley. Gelling's defence on the far side prevented a possible try, I thought, for St Helens. He came in and closed down the play. But Saints get a second chance here now with a repeat set of possession.
And Phil, it was Luke Walsh that Gelling shut down. I was watching Walsh set up on the left-hand side. Fage at the same time was directing players around him on the right-hand side of the field. What I would suggest, Eddie, is that for St Helens to go well in attack today, they need to even out the distribution between Fage on the right, if he's going to stay there, and Luke Walsh on the left, and not have Luke Walsh dominate Theo Fage too much.
Joe Greenwood was the first man to reach the goal line dropout. Burns again, the dummy half. Lama Tazi will take this ball forward once more, but not too far. Solid defence from Wigan. Third away game of 2016 for Wigan. This is their toughest assignment so far in the eyes of their supporters anyway. Kyle Amor, back it comes to Fage. Short ball then to Greenwood. And Greenwood takes 3 to bring him down. That's the Wigan line that Wigan are defending, and McCarthy-Scarsbrook gets it away to Tarzai, and dab through by Walsh. Oh, and that was so close, Louis for Shannon McDonnell.
Inventive play from the Saints. 2 big fellas, forwards passing the ball, moving it out to Luke Walsh, and then he instinctively put the kick in. He saw the defenders rush forward, but he didn't turn it into the first try.
Josh Charnley is manhandled to the floor, plays the ball quickly though to Sam Powell. Here is Bateman. They're into it, aren't they, very early. Hasn't taken much to settle down. Burke gets it away to O'Loughlin, good hands. Matty Smith picks it up. Important tackle that was by Matty Dawson. Powell again. Burke takes the ball over the 40-metre line inside the St Helens half of the field. Last one here, Matty Smith will hoist the kick. It goes high. It's a good kick too. It's a great kick and it's bounced back. Oh, it's not come up for St Helens' hand, he says. It's still the last tackle. Wigan are in a little bit of a hole here. Can Gelling get them out of it? Can Sargentson? Sargentson with a kick into space, looking for Charnley's pace, and all he does is finds the touchline.
Well, it works out well in the end. Sargentson gets the ball off Gelling. Gelling causing a nuisance of himself. McDonald unable to catch the ball from the high kick. I think Sargentson rescues the situation, kicks the ball in the corner. He'll have a little walk and tack the scrum.
That was a very good call from Robert Hicks, Stuart Cummings.
It was a good pace to the game. He's settled in pretty quickly, talking to the players, setting it up nicely for what we hope is going to be a great game.
In Super League overall, including the playoffs, grand finals and the Magic weekends, fixtures between these teams, well, there have been 34 wins apiece, and there have been 4 draws.
Well, a reward for the effort that Louis McCarthy's guys have put into that run. He's having some word with somebody who's involved in the tackle there, and the ref might have word with him, but he broke through the first one. Joel Tompkins, in the mouthful.
We're not having any more of them mysterious.
Referee wants a little word with Louis McCarthy Scarisbrooke and has that in his ear. St Helens have got the penalty.
Well, keep an eye on that one. Louis McCarthy, Joel Tompkins returning. If indeed the words were aimed at Tompkins, you can expect to see some fired back at some stage in this game. Nice little battle developing out there on the left-hand fringe.
Walsh deposits the ball into touch, 40 metres away from his own line, and then picks up the pass from Travis Burns. Kyle Amor takes it in. He will play the ball to Burns, who'll find Walsh. Flat ball! Oh, here's a good break from Wilkin. Needs some support. It arrives from Theo Farge. Good defence coming back, though. Brilliant defence from Dominic Manfredi. And Burns got the ball away, and it was picked up by Shannon McDonald.
Yeah, it was a poor pass, wasn't it, though, from the play of the ball. They've lost one chance there. Wigan are now recovered. Great play, though, wasn't it, to split them down that left side. The prep's been good for this game, but they've still not put on any points.
Here is Walsh in centre field. Gets the ball inside to Lamatasi again. It was a great break from John Wilkin, the skipper, that put them in this position. They're underneath the sticks. We've reached the last tackle again. And again, Walsh goes the aerial route looking for the man Makinson. It's bounced forward. A knock on and a scrum down with head and feet, St Helens.
Well, Josh Charnley again targeted here with this kick. It's perfect, isn't it? Just sitting on the try line. Makinson can't get it, but he's forced into an error here, Josh Charnley. It's a difficult catch, isn't it, with one man in front, one man behind. Saints get some great... Here's the spray from John Wilkin. Nice 2v1 situation. He draws a fullback, but Don Manfredi saves a player there. Just about holds up Theo Farge.
The kick from Walsh was so good because it allowed Makinson come from outside to in, so all advantages go to the attacking winger. Josh Charnley defending, he was stuck underneath it. Makinson could hold the try line, the last minute come into a kick that was going to come about 5-6 metres inside from that line. Brilliant kick from Walsh, and Makinson may get results if he goes there again.
Oh, the pass wasn't the best to John Wilkin, and he shows his disgust either at himself for not pouching it or for the pass that was dipping, and I think it's for the pass that was dipping from Travis Burns.
I think 2 or 3 of Travis Burns' passes haven't been good enough for this level. You need that ball with defenders racing at you to be exactly where it needs to be, and it wasn't. It's an opportunity to score, an opportunity to win the game, you could almost say there. I know it's 0-0 at this point, but those are the chances in derby games that you need to convert into points.
So the scrum will go down because of Wilkins' error. It'll have to go as an error in the box against John Wilkin. I think we've seen early the tactics of Kieran Cunningham is going to try and kick to this right-hand side and test Josh Charnley. Pushing and shoving at the scrums. This is unusual, isn't it? Ben Pro, apparently more action at Warrington.
Yeah, 23 minutes gone, Eddie, and could Warrington's 100% start be under threat? It's Widnes in with another try. Jeremiah and Mella combining for Hanbury to go in. Hanbury added the extras, and Widnes Vikings now 10-0 up.
Widnes at the top of the table, lead at Warrington 10-0. They play St Helens on Monday. It is live on Sky Sports. St Helens here, too quick out of the traps. Penalised, offside.
First two tackles of the set from St Helens, brilliant. 10 out of 10. And the third, just a little too eager. Referee, whistle in the mouth. What a relief for Wigan Warriors, because St Helens looked like they were going to pin them down inside their 20. Cause a difficult exit kick.
So 2 games coming for you on Easter Monday. Here now, though, is Greg Burke for the Wigan Warriors here on this Good Friday, and we're in the 10th minute of the match. Saints 0, Wigan 0. Matty Smith gets the ball away to Sean O'Loughlin. He finds John Bateman, and there was an ambush waiting for Bateman. Greenwood got to him quickly. Powell into centre field. Ben Flower takes the ball forward. 22 metres away from the St Helens line. On the 4th tackle, Powell to Smith. Spreads it wide, finds Gelling. Gelling one-handed. He's collared by Dawson and Walsh. And Tompkins from dummy half finds Matty Smith. Crossfield kick from Matty Smith. Oh, and flicked into the air and somehow held on to by Dominic Peyrou.
Well, a fantastic catch, wasn't it? Well placed kick, no longer the Wigan, just kick to the winger. That's where Saints were prepared to defend. Just inside, 10-15 metres where the centre usually stands, and he did enough to gather possession for Wigan.
More action at the Halliwell Jones. Ben.
Yeah, 15,000 sellouts here, Eddie, and they've got something to celebrate at last, because Chris Sandow's got Warrington on the board.
Upsy-daisy, Joel Tompkins in the thick of it, and Kyle Amor picks himself up, gives a wink at the physio. The touch judge is on, the referee is having a word. It's a grab.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Eddie. It's a grab more than anything else. Penalty will go to the St Helens side. Clumsy, and it's a grab, and Louis McCarthy made sure that Tompkins knew his disgust with that effort straight away.
So Amor just being checked out to check there's no extensive damage. I think Joel Tompkins saw the wink from Amor to the physio. So it's a penalty and nothing else. There might have been some words spoken there in the heat of the battle that you should not have been privy to at home. We apologise for that.
Well, it's not an easy job, is it? You have to be aggressive to play the game. Sometimes some players just go a bit too far, and Joel Tompkins just needs to manage his threshold here. Understandably, he's highly worked up here, back here in a game like this with this sort of atmosphere. He needs to control his emotions.
And Amor takes it forward again, fully recovered after the swipe by Tompkins. St Helens switching the direction of the attack down the left-hand side now. Travis Burns' way. Dawson plays it to him. Here is Wilkin. Wilkin to Walsh. Greenwood bounces off O'Loughlin almost, but he had hold of his shirt nonetheless, and helped out by Bateman. Theo Farge turns the ball back on the inside to Shannon MacDonald. Burns again into centre field, finds Walsh. Walsh shows it to a couple, gives it to Wilkin. Wilkin stabs the kick in, inviting a chase, and Dern Sargentson gets to it, and Sargentson puts his foot on the touching goal line. It looked as though it was brilliant defence from Sargentson.
It's a great recovery, but what about the quality of the attacking kicks St Helens have put in to start this game? In fact, attacking kicks have helped them to win matches here so far this season when they've not been at the best. We've seen brilliant one which put Josh Charlie under pressure. Now on to the left corner in the opposite direction. The low one here, which has given them a second goal line dropout in less than 13 minutes.
The Saints beaten at Leeds last Friday, looking to get back on the horse against their fiercest rivals.
They're certainly looking sharper, Eddie. Ball movement shouldn't be a problem. Fage, Walsh, John Wilkin, Travis Burns, all on the field. A lot of pivots, a lot of ability to move the ball wide. Some of their strike players out there.
And a lot of oomph up front from Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook as well. Here is Walsh. Wakefield are ahead against Huddersfield. Catalan Dragons leading at Salford. Here, 0-0 at Langtree Park. Widnes still ahead at Warrington. Big day in the Super League. Theo Fage going for the line. Halted just short. Plays the ball to Travis Burns. Wilkin to Walsh. Walsh, another deft little kick. Cleaned up by Sargentson. Under pressure he was from Greenwood. A third goal line dropout that St Helens have forced.
Great full-back play as well.
Greenwood needs some treatment.
That's great, Eddie, from the full-back. Sargentson stand in. Diffused the kick on one side. Put his body on the line. As did that man, Greenwood. Mop up the kick. St Helens building some pressure nicely now.
But Don Sargentson looked good last week for Wigan as playing as a full-back. Throwing lots of passes. Shown here in the opening 15 minutes, 14 now around, so less than that, but he's capable of being in the right place at the right time and dealing with the dangerous kicks that St Helens have capitalised from at times last season, but not so far today.
Full back for the third game in a row, Dan Sargentson. 4 times he played in that position in 2015. Looks like Greenwood is going to be okay to carry on. No Sam Tompkins yet, of course, for Wigan. George Williams, Willie Isa, Dom Crosby, McIlorum, Liam Farrell, all out, but Farrell's absence covered by the emergence of Joel Tompkins for the first time this year. Missing for Saints, Johnny Lomax, who's not been around for a while, Adam Swift, Mark Percival and Atelier Vey, but there's no lack of commitment, there is no lack of ability out there on the field, and here comes Amor for the Saints.
Well, we're seeing Wigan defend again, something they've been doing well this season. The problem has been their attack. The defence has been so good that failing attack hasn't let them down too often in games. Only that solitary defeat to Widnes last time out. But so far in this game, they haven't had many chances with the ball because of St Helens' efforts like this.
Shannon McDonald looking to prise open this Wigan defence, which so far has stood firm. 14 minutes gone. We await the first points of this, the 364th meeting between these two famous old clubs. McCarthy-Scarsbrook was almost through. Halted 9 metres away, got up on his knees and went another metre forward. Here is Walsh. Walsh then to Wilkin, quick hands. Theo Fage. Oh, he was screaming for it out wide. Jack Owens couldn't get the ball out there.
Because Anthony Gelling closed him down again so quickly. Last play.
With Wilkin to Walsh, another kick, another tester here for Charnley, looking for Makinson. Makinson pounds the ball down, and it is just hooked clear by Powell. But the referee said that came off St Helens.
Surely he's got that wrong. That's a big goal line drop, eh?
Yeah, I thought it came off St Helens. Wigan player last.
Definitely.
There's no knock on. Should have been a goal line drop out.
Well, that's a mistake by Robert Hicks, but let's not have a go at him too early here. And the try coming at Warrington, Ben.
Yeah, just 2 points between the top two, Eddie. 2 tries in 4 minutes for Warrington. Tom Lynham it was a great pass out from Evans. Lynham with his 6th of the season. 10-8 at the Halliwell Jones.
So the Vikings just in front there. The battle of the top 2 at the Halliwell Jones. Here the battle of 3 and 4, Saints and Wigan. Great day, wonderful weather, great games all over the show. The start of the Easter holiday programme, which of course can make or break any season. 3 games in 10 days. It tests the squads, it tests the players, it tests the patience. And all the matches, don't forget, all the highlights will be available on skysports.com/rugby league at full time today. So you can catch up with everything that's happening in the First Utility Super League on our website. Here come Wigan with the skipper, and he gets it away to Sargentson. He finds Gildart. Gildart gets underneath the challenge from McDonald, but a good job that Peyru was there. Sargentson to O'Loughlin. Here is Matty Smith. Matty Smith, nice little kick from him this time. And Jack Owens to the rescue, just palms the ball dead under pressure from Dominic Manfredi. Well, they are having a go, aren't they?
That's been the nature of the games we've seen last night and already today. The games have gone end to end. The defence has been at a higher standard than it had in the first 6 rounds of the Super League. I know it's only for 2 points, but this weekend, this round means more to both sets of players, both sets of supporters, and as a result, it's proving far harder to score a try.
Is that because it's derbies? Is that because it's derby day as much as everything else?
I think it is, Eddie, yeah. I think it's the history behind the event that has led players to playing better than they have so far this season. The crowd, the atmosphere, the occasion. We're going to be looking here. Twice they've set up in the centre field. They've had 8 attackers on the left-hand side, targeting around where Theo Fage is. They haven't got through it yet, and I think they'll persist.
Dan Flower takes it forward once more for Wigan, halted 30 metres away from the Saints line. Powell is waiting behind him, the dummy half. Gets the pass away to O'Loughlin. There is Smith, good hands, great hands from Wigan. Manfredi down the right-hand side. Manfredi cutting inside. Important tackle that was by Travis Burns. Could have been penalised because he held on. Smith into centre field to Tolima Tautai. Tautai then to O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin out the back door. Tautai puts it down.
It's a penalty to Wigan anyway. They were Centellas offside on that play. Several of them. Joe Greenwood was actually underneath the post. The referees stood a little further wide. It probably doesn't make much difference.
Shake of the head from
tap the ball anyway.
Shake of the head from Sean Wayne. No 2 points wanted by him. Why would you? Because here is Gildart, and now it's with Charnley. St Helens scrambling in defence. Peyru and Fage getting to the man in possession. It is with O'Loughlin. Tautai will try to muscle it up the middle, and he's pulled down 3 metres short again. Where's he going? Where's he going on that play in the ball? He was way off the mark.
Well, he should play where he's tackled, and he's certainly moved 2 metres to the left. That takes the markers out of the game. Really should have been penalised for that.
2 metres, Stuart. I'm glad you don't measure my carpets.
Who strides then?
Ball is lost. Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook has it back. Gets it away to Travis Burns. Time McCarthy Scarsbrook now are at it. This game is simmering. We're only 18 and a half minutes in, but it is simmering.
Brian, you said before the game you thought this game might get tasty. Here's a forward pass, and Centellas is just about to bring on the 2 big guns. James Roby and Alex Walmsley. I bet in a way Kieran Cunningham would like to have had those on with all the possession they've had in this opening quarter. Some great field position and territory. The score still 0-0. I suppose in some ways Centellas have been pleased with that.
I think so, Phil. I think if in his pre-game assessment of how he uses substitutions, 20 minutes in, bring on Roby, bring on Walmsley, it's 0-0 against Wigan, I think he would have taken that.
Well, remember when Alex Walmsley came onto the field in the World Club Series, he made a bit of a difference.
Well, he can offload Eddie, he can break the line, he can pass before the line, and he can provide, most importantly, a spark for St Helens.
And he certainly did in the heavy defeat against Salford as well. And Roby there, he could be the key.
Well, if Walmsley makes a break or gets a quick play of the ball, you can be sure that James Roby will be right in behind him, try and lift the tempo of the game.
But first things first, they have to defend this raid that's coming in from the Wigan Warriors as a result of that forward pass. Quick play the ball by Gelling. It's got Saints on the back foot, really. Again, the defenders come in and scramble the man in possession, Sam Powell, to the floor. This is Matty Smith, short ball to Tautai. Roby was round the ankles. Roby still hanging on to the ankles. Penalty under the sticks. Was it Roby or was it McDonald? I think it was Roby.
Yeah, James Roby pulled his leg as he was trying to stand up, and he went to ground.
So penalty bang in front. Wigan, would they be interested in 2? Not at all.
Steadfast refusal, Eddie. Nothing less than a try, it seems.
Bateman on the floor, gets to his feet, plays it to Powell. Powell then to Matty Smith. Here now is O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin with the pass to Sargentson. Sargent gets it to Gelling. Gelling to Manfredi. Good hands. Great try. Great try, Manfredi. Dominic Manfredi. It was wonderful hands from Wigan. It was flicked across the line. And Dominic Manfredi, well, he is making a big name for himself. Trying 3 in the last 5. He ended last year with 6 tries in the last 3. Sean Wayne couldn't leave him out then. Can't leave him out in 2016. He's broken the deadlock.
Well, they've turned the territory, haven't they, into points. Santel's couldn't do it at one end. There's another penalty for interference on Tautai. This is brilliant how they transfer the ball from one side to the other. I said a few weeks ago that I thought Dan Manfredi was the best player in this competition at returning kicks. I tell you what, he makes it look like he's one of the best finishers because he makes this look relatively easy here. With committed and enthusiastic defenders in front of him. When he gets possession, steps off that right foot, curls back inside. Well, it makes it look like it's a training session.
Someone's delighted. Someone is delighted. Wigan-born Sean Wayne punches the air with delight.
Well, Manfredi, the beneficiary from a pass from Gelling. Get a look at the replay, Eddie, maybe afterwards, and have a look at Jack Owen's contribution in this. He comes in defence. He is outnumbered, so he must come in on Gelling. But he comes in around the waist of Gelling, tries to perfect the tackle where he can bring him down, put him down to the ground. You've got to block the ball up with Gelling. Just get in the way of his arms, because you know he's going to pass the ball, especially with somebody like Manfredi outside him. No point in just coming in and just trying to knock him. You've got to go first and foremost for the ball.
Well, Matty Smith, he didn't have much success with the boot last week in the game against the Rhinos. Can he make his mark here today? And he's missed that one. So 4-0 it stays.
Okay, you're outnumbered, you're Jack Owens. What do you do as the ball is shifted left to right by the Wigan Warriors and comes into the hands of Anthony Gelling? You've just got to get in the way of a pass, not tackle him around the waist. That's the result. There was a warning sign just previous, and Freddie got the ball, made a great break inside. What a difficult man to put down. What a brilliant runner of the ball. I'm sure his family and Lee will be delighted with that.
Half time at Warrington, it's all square, 10 apiece. Widnes were 10-0 up at one stage. That's the top 2. Here we've got the team sitting 3rd and 4th in the First Utility Super League. And all the signs are that we're in for another special afternoon between these two. Gelling is wrestled to the floor by 4. They weren't going to let him offload on that occasion. Tompkins takes it forward again. Latest at Bellevue, Wakefield 18-12 up against the Huddersfield Giants. 4-0 Wigan here, and the Catalan Dragons leading at half-time at the AJ Bell Stadium 12-4 against Salford. You're right up to date with everything that's happening today. Great ball from O'Loughlin, great pick-up as well by Sargentson, tackled by Peyru. Here comes Gildart with boot to ball, and that will be wasted in over the dead ball line.
Well, I think we've got to give Tommy Makinson some credit there. He worked so hard to trap Oliver Gildart, and he set off running from acting halfback. I think that's the reason why he was held as he made that kick. It went far too long, and all of the impetus lost there from the Warriors.
So St Helens trying to work this ball away from their own line. Roby in centre field. Wormsley greeted by Tautai and Powell. Wakefield ahead at half-time now against Huddersfield. Good kick from Theo Farge, 40-20 possibilities, but didn't quite get the bounce.
But he was clearly aiming for the sideline. I think you're right. He timed his steps, so he's just inside that 40-metre zone. But the angle wasn't right. At least they've got to the other end of the field. It's just, you feel now, almost 25 minutes into this game, just slowed down a fraction, hasn't it? It was so fast, the opening part of it. Players now just grabbing their breath, and the introduction of substitutes and the impact that they have now becomes more significant.
Yes, it's long bursting stuff for the opening 20-23 minutes. Bateman, Peyru's putting himself about in defence today, isn't he? Dominique Peyru, the Samoan, played for the Cook Islanders. Wigan, brilliant pass again by Gelling to Manfredi, and he's got brilliant feet, this young man. Brilliant feet, and he can run through the tackles. They've got 4 wide on this left-hand side. He gets it away though to Matty Smith. Smith will attack him up the middle. He's dragged to the ground by Matty Dawson. Wigan with the wind in their sails. Sargentson goes right, goes left, goes back right again. Powell dabs the ball to the in-goal area. He's chasing it himself. Brilliant try. Great try from young Sam Powell. Outstanding play. And Sam Tompkins on his feet as well. Outstanding play from Wigan. From one end of the field to the other. And lovely work from Sam Powell to crown his 70th appearance in the Wigan jersey. And the try right next to the sticks. Wigan will be 10-0 up in a moment.
Well, as brilliant as the initial break from Wigan was, St Helens scramble defence matched it. Again, going out to Gelling, who finds Manfredi, cuts back in across, goes diagonally across the pitch. St Helens defenders getting stepped both sides of the pitch. Eventually gets hauled down, and then Wigan go through Sam Powell. Well, hasn't Sam Powell been brilliant in the absence of Michael McAloon? What about this bit of play? Dan Sargentson looks left and goes back to the other side of the field. Powell looks for a fullback, sees none. Boom. Try. St Helens. The question mark is, where was Shannon MacDonald when Sam Powell could boot the ball and plunged over the line?
You sometimes don't end up in the position when you get to a first team that you've played for the majority of your life up to that point. Sam Powell is the typical example of that. Most of his career as a youngster growing up, he played as a scrum half or a standoff, passing and catching and putting attacking kicks in. But the nature of it is the injuries that happen in sport means that he's now asked to play as a hooker in a slightly different role to what he did as a youngster. That was his natural game, wasn't it? Playing instinctively, taking on defenders and making sure whenever there's a chance, he's on it.
Well, he was on this one, that's for sure, and Matty Smith hasn't missed the conversion. Great play.
God, it's a brilliant piece of play. Roby can't stop him as he goes over. And I could imagine that when Michael McAloon had suffered that serious injury, plenty of rumours were circulating as to who Wigan would bring in. Would Bob Bezic be brought in from Lee? Would Mickey Hyam be brought back to Wigan Warriors? But Sam Powell was slotted in and he's done a great job so far. Brings a lot of attacking spark. Doesn't often get left behind in defence either.
You probably saw the reaction from Sean Wayne when that try went in. Oh, forward pass in their own in-goal area here. And he's given it to Robert Hicks. Well, we've been praising the hands of the Wigan Warriors.
What about the
and
cat?
this man in particular. But look at that. Blimey, that's 2 metres, Stuart.
It is. And Tuster's well positioned down on the dead ball line. Picked that up and quite rightly gives the forward pass. Even though he's in front of him, he can't be offside in his in-goal area, and it's a goal line dropout that results.
So Matty Smith will try and give this as much oomph as he can and get it to the halfway line, which he looks as though he just about does. Walsh is underneath it. Here comes Big Alex. He's met by the immovable force ahead of him. Great tackling from Wigan. Saints have got to try and wrestle the initiative back here. That was Luke Thompson with the run for Saints. Oh, the ball's everywhere. Zero tackle here for Wigan. Saints have just gone off the boil in the last 5-6 minutes or so. And O'Loughlin gives it to Bateman. He got away from Peru. He can't get away from Theo Fage. Scrambles to his feet, Gildart. Here is Sargentson. Sargentson on halfway is trapped by 2. Roby has him. The referee shout held. Powell to Matty Smith. Oof. Solid challenges. You would expect nothing else in a match like this. It was on Ryan Sutton. Joel Tompkins, welcome back to the Super League. First appearance of the season in the white-hot atmosphere of the derby. Bateman is underneath that. Saints almost wave the white flag then. And O'Loughlin hacks the ball forward, and it just goes dead in goal. Well, St Helens is just slightly in disarray at the minute.
Well, we spoke about Alex Walmsley bringing a spark to the side. It hasn't quite happened, Eddie, and you're right. St Helens are a little loose at the moment. Against Leeds, Alex Walmsley's modus operandi was to run into the defence, drop to his knees as quick as he could and get a quick play of the ball. Wigan are doing a very good job, as we see here. Perfect illustration of trying to get him on his back and keeping a slow play of the ball. Dominic Peru getting some running repairs, you're right. He has thrown himself about defensively. And he has been good and solid in that aspect of his game for St Helens. But Walmsley will need to try and get a quicker play of the ball if he's to have an impact in this game. As I said, Wigan wrapping him up well.
Well, Peru is leaving the field, so Saints will have to make a change. And here is McDonald. McDonald gets the ball away, and well, Matty Dawson looking for something, and he got a bang in the head there, didn't he, Peru?
He's looking Matty Dawson for a player to take his team forward, which is what they failed to do here. A lot of sideways passes here, maybe a little bit of space for Tommy Makinson. They're struggling after half an hour to play at the pace and intensity of their opponents. That's the last play. They started well, but they couldn't convert that break into points. They're clinging on a bit at the moment.
And that's a wasted kick from Theo Farge. He was under pressure, he had to get it away quickly.
I wonder would he be better firing the pass to his left, Eddie. He did have Luke Walsh, you're right, there was pressure coming on Faj, but I don't think he would have lost any great field position or ability to get a kick away had he passed on to his teammate, his half-back partner Luke Walsh, standing just to his left.
Well, Joe Greenwood was taking a breather, and now he's on, number 20, there he is for Dominic Peru. Well, one thing you can rest assured, and that was on Lee Mossop, that tackle, the tackles, there would be nothing left behind in the dressing room tonight when this game is over. Barry and Terry's biggest hits, very popular on the website. Joel Tompkins has made the break. Joel Tompkins has run through them. Joel Tompkins with a marauding try, and Joel Tompkins scores for Wigan. His first game of the season, his first try of the season. Joel Tompkins, a knee injury pre-season. Looks nothing wrong with the knees here.
Well, too fit, too fast, too strong. That's what it appears to me for the last 5 or 10 minutes. St Helens couldn't cope there, could they? Luke Thompson didn't have the pace or the agility to get across and cover Joel Tompkins, dangling the ball out as though he's going to pass it, teasing in the defenders. Luke Walsh or Luke Thompson who managed to prevent the big fella from going over. Great comeback there. He's been in strong. He was aggressive to start the game, and he's shown intelligence and skill here. I like that with his speed endurance, and that's a third try and a very significant one, I feel, in this match.
Yes, that gives Wigan a real cushion here. They're 14-0 up at the home of the Saints. We're still 8 minutes and more away from half-time. Matty Smith kicks this, it's 18-0, and it's a very, very steep hill for St Helens to climb. The clock ticks to 32 minutes as Matty Smith kicks the conversion, and Wigan have the 18-0 advantage.
St Helens might look at this and see if Luke Thompson could have got a little bit more help from the markers as the ball was played. Could they have peeled backwards and helped out the big man? But ultimately you've got to be able to make a tackle like that on Joel Tompkins. Tompkins stretched him and ran around Thompson. We'll try and rectify that next time out, but warning signs. He's got pace, he's got size. You can't afford to give him too much distance between you and your next defender.
Well, they're hurting St Helens, and no one will hurt more than Paul Wellens, who's out there again reading the Riot Act.
Is that library footage? We've seen a few of those, haven't we?
Yes. Every time Saints are in a hole, Paul Wellens comes out with a shovel. He doesn't exactly hit the St Helens players with it, but he tries to dig them out of problems. And he, like Sean Wayne and like everybody, Kieran Cunningham involved in this match, wears his heart on his sleeve. Wigan in possession. Mossop to O'Loughlin. That was played out, so 6 to go for St Helens here. They got the hand on it, so Wigan have 6 tackles from here. Bateman will trundle it forward a bit further, up to halfway. Penalty now. Greenwood going for a piggyback.
Well, St Helens need the survival kit out here, because 16-0 they're still alive. We saw what happened in the Hull derby before this game when Hull FC came back from 20-0 down. But I think if it goes beyond 16, it will be too far. And Wigan's attack starts to look too sharp for them. Got more possession. And James Roby and co need to take on board any advice that Paul Wellens has given them to just maintain a position in this match.
Loose pass from Tully Matautai, picked up by Joel Tompkins, latest try scorer. Ryan Sutton felt the full weight of those tackles.
It was John Wilkin, Eddie, that led the line on the left-hand side. He might be the man to spark them in this game, both in attack and in defence. Experienced campaigner, talented with and without the rugby league ball. St Helens needs something.
And this is now Tautai going up the middle, trying to go through Luke Thompson. Down he goes, 12 metres away from the Saints line on the last tackle. Powell having another run from dummy half, trying same again. This time he's meat in a St Helens sandwich. And MacDonald does well to get back into the field of play. Matty Dawson looking to run the ball away.
Well, it is good recovery, isn't it? When you're surviving on your own line, you're surviving on the wits at present, just about trying to stay in the match. They could desperately do with something like a penalty here to get some more possession away from this end of the field. To shift it wide and really asking Joe Greenwood to beat two defenders, three even now, is a tough ask.
There's time for a penalty for Saints, or time for a 40-20 perhaps. Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook carts it forward. They've reached the fifth tackle, so last one here. They're still 12-13 metres inside their own half. Luke Walsh will just hump it downfield into the arms of Sargentson. Sargentson directing Manfredi where he wants him to run. The white ball arrives. Matty Smith, 40 metres from his own line. Dominic Manfredi again, through one, through two. Can't get away from McCarthy-Scarsbrook or Luke Thompson. And Charnley will have a scamper from dummy half. Referee shouts held. That's three gone, but they're making good ground on every tackle, Wigan.
They're playing it quicker, Eddie. This tempo is all in favour of the Wigan Warriors. Saints have got to slow it down quickly.
O'Loughlin, wide pass to Charnley, who picks it up. Oh, and then somehow gets it away to Sargentson. Sargentson running laterally, gives it to Smith. That was played up. This will be 6 to go again. It is 6 to go for Wigan. Bateman takes the first. Gildart to Mossop. And Mossop goes down inside the St Helens quarter once again. Powell and Sutton. Up the middle they go again. Trying to burst open this St Helens defence with Mossop. And Mossop halted just short by four St Helens defenders. Powell again. Powell to Matty Smith. Smith to Sargentson. Oh, there's problems here. There's problems here. That was high from Walsh, was it? No, the referee says play on. Gelling now. Gelling to Tompkins. Ball goes to ground. It's the free play. Roby gets to it.
Well, you've got to admire Saints for hanging on in on the ropes here. They're doing it so tough. They've not had any good possession. And Wigan's speed around the play of the ball is just too good now. Some people would say it was a penalty. The ref said we'll go with it. He's trying to shift it to try and get wide. But Wigan's defence is equally as impressive as its attack in the last 10 minutes. Here's a penalty. And if St Helens can stay at this point or even narrow the gap, they might, convince themselves at half-time that things could get better. Of the 14 tries that Wigan have scored so far this season, 12 have been conceded in the second half. They've been almost impossible to score against in the first 40. But there is a chance of getting over the line, and they have to try and fill the brains with some positive waves if they can get to that point, if they're still only 16-0 behind.
That's a good run from Walmsley. That will lift the Saints. Roby to Walsh. All the match highlights on the website full time. Don't forget, you can see all of the tries scored this Good Friday. Roby. Been some crackers here at St Helens by Wigan. There have been some belters last night. Castleford Leeds, and some great tries again. Hull and Hull KR. Here is Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook. Chance here for St Helens. McCarthy-Scarsbrook is held up on the line. And he wanted to go back to the 10-metre mark because he says that he wasn't on the line, he was over the line.
Well, you can see Wilkin and Walsh and Farge communicating. They know they've got a maximum of 2 players left in this set. Just try and find a way through Wigan's defence and over the line.
Wilkin to Walsh to Farge. Good ball. Quick hands from Saints now. Dawson couldn't get the ball away. He was under intense pressure from Manfredi. Saints fans screaming for a penalty, none forthcoming. Luke Walsh again, looking for Makinson. A tester for Charnley. Makinson palms it down into the arms of Gildart.
Well, he's a very quick learner, isn't he, Oliver Gildart? He'd seen what Makinson had been doing with those high kicks, trying to push them back inside to some of his teammates in support. He just waited in the perfect spot, didn't he, as it tipped in his favour.
And Kieran Cunningham just holds his head in his hands. Bateman is pulled down. Sam Powell. O'Loughlin. Good ball. He's almost through. It was Oliver Gildart, and Matty Smith says let's just buy a few seconds because he knows there's only 30 to go to the half-time siren.
Well, they might buy the half-time break at that. I think they're completely satisfied, and St Helens look shattered.
Yes, they'll be happy to get in for the half-time break and a chat from Kieran Cunningham. He'll be delighted, Sean Wayne. He has punched the air a few times, the St Helens fans. They have their own remedy of what's gone wrong. Wonder if Kieran Cunningham does as well. I think the players have had enough. They want to go off for half-time, but the referee's called time-out with 12 seconds remaining.
Well, he's got a threefold job of rebuilding, I think, Kieran Cunningham. He's got to try and rebuild them physically, convince them they're not that tired, rebuild them mentally, through the positivity, perhaps tactically as well. Try and find a way here in which he can inflict a bit more pain and threat to Wigan with the ball.
Matty Dawson gets through the first challenge. Can he play the ball before the siren? No, he can't. Well, the referee says play on. He says keep it going. This high kick again for Charnley. Charnley picks it up. And will Charnley take the tackle? Yes, he will. And that will do. That will do. Lots of boos around the ground. That can't be for Wigan. So you can only assume that's the home supporters getting slightly restless, perhaps. It was stalemate for 21 minutes. Then Dominic Manfredi came up with the first try of the match. Powell added a second 4 minutes later. And 6 minutes later tonight. So big Easter Monday coming up. 18 months ago, these two met in the grand final. St Helens have got 9 new faces from that night. Wigan have got 7. 6 Super League titles to Saints, 3 to Wigan. Saints champions 13 times overall. Wigan a record 22. And leading this Good Friday contest here as Stars loses the kick-off. That's not the start that St Helens would have wanted. Maybe we can blame the sun, which is dipping over the stands at the other end of the field. But that is not what Kieran Cunningham and the Saints supporters, and indeed his teammates, would have wanted to see. Theo Farge with the mistake.
He never seemed confident as soon as the kick went up, did he? And had to move a bit of distance. Things didn't go right for him there in that way. But if ever he needs his teammates to help him out of a hole, it's here and now. He can't afford to concede any more points.
Tautai trundles the ball up the middle. That's where Wigan are at their destructive best, down the middle. And when they loosen things up down the middle, they have the ability to spin it wide. And the wingers like Manfredi and Charnley, they capitalise on tired defence. Gelling, that's a good tackle low down. Very good tackle that by Jack Owens, helped out by Dawson. And Tompkins takes it forward once again. Powell. Oh no, it wasn't. It was Ryan Sutton. My apologies. He gets the penalty because that was pinched from him by Wilkin. After the tackle was completed, that's a loose pass, and Theo Farge to the rescue.
Well, there's absolute redemption, Eddie. Dropping the kick-off doesn't mean you have to concede points. Not like Wigan went over or crashed over and Farge the man to jump on a ball. A loose Wigan pass. And the halfback will be mightily relieved, as now his efforts here see St Helens with the ball and returning in very much the same position they would have been, I guess, had he caught the kick just a minute 44 previous. So all good for Theo Farge. St Helens now know what's ahead of them.
The biggest challenge for the Saints, I suppose, is how they can find a way over the try line and score some points. They had some great field position in the first half. They forced 3 goal line dropouts, but they couldn't find a way of breaking down Wigan's defence. Did they carry on doing what they were doing, or did they try something a little different?
Well, they've got to speed the play the ball up, Phil. Absolutely. That's they've got to get Wigan going backwards. It's too easy for Wigan in defence with slow play the balls.
Wilkin high to the centre of the field. It's allowed to bounce, and it's broken for Peyru, and it goes wide here to Makinson. Oh, and a fingertip from Charlie. Peyru was after it. I don't think he's got to it. I don't think he has got this. I think he might. They're all celebrating and thinking he has. Of course, they only have to have these days the merest of pressure on the ball as it hits the ground. But Robert Hicks has indicated no try on the field.
It certainly looked no try from a distance, but we'll certainly get a closer look now. All onside from the kick. There's only really two players involved in the chase. Who gets to the grounding? I certainly think a Saints hand has got to the ball first, but I don't think there's any downward pressure. This might prove me wrong. But it's knocked back from Charnley first off. Is it Peyru who's trying to get down and get to the ball? He certainly gets his hand to it, but then it's knocked out of his hands by Charnley. So it's actually Charnley who's had the last touch before it goes dead. So this, if I've read it rightly, should be a goal line dropout. So Saints will get the ball back, I think.
Well, that's your version of events. I wonder what Joe Cobb, who is the video referee this afternoon, will make of it and what message he will pass on. Wigan have lined up for a 20-metre restart, by the way.
That's all St Helens, Eddie.
No try. And it's a goal line dropout. Robert Hicks has stayed in goal, and he's now indicating it is a goal line dropout. And he's pointing at Josh Charnley because he got the last touch.
Well, they needed a spark in attack. And something different out wide has provided that. Josh Charnley's come up with a huge play to stop Peru. That would have been a try. Big fella stretching over, and Charnley's got his hands in, forced the goal line dropout, forced the ball dead, I should say. Goal line dropout. Theo Fage, again a few issues.
Yeah, I don't think the sun's helping him somehow.
Getting some
But
practice
Saints
at that
have the
though, isn't he,
ball.
Matthew Smith? That's his fourth in the game. He's kicking it a long way. Can't really make a dent, can they? In the past, Alex Walmsley has with defenders, but he's been at the ball dislodged here as he's taking it forward.
And look at the way Wigan celebrate this mistake from Alex Walmsley. It was just a loose carry.
Ryan Sutton, great young player he is there. Big man, hits him hard, hits him fair. It's a turnover. Is that play two?
Well, he's tried to prepare his carry for contact, shifted the ball, and he left it too late. Players on top of him, and he made a mess of it, really.
This is Gelling for Wigan. We say that Saints are at Widnes on Monday, which they are. Wigan will entertain Hulkingston Rovers, and then next Friday, Wigan are at Warrington. Oh, sorry, Wigan are at home to Warrington, I beg your pardon. Friday, April the 1st. April Fool's Day. There will be no place for fools or faint hearts there.
Fantastic play from Sean O'Loughlin. He can play as a central defender, central midfield, central attack here. He's got everything, hasn't he? And he's open here now. That kick goes through. His team are the first to score in the second half.
Saints nearly gifted the possession away again then. Roby was quick to react in the end. McDonnell, Catalan leading at Salford still. They're playing better away in 2016 than they are in Perpignan, the Catalan Dragons. They've suffered travel sickness for all these years. Let's get half-time news, shall we, from Angela Powers, who's on the sideline for us.
Here in Cunningham, the coach of St Helens.
It's a gift. It's a gift for Wigan. We get back to Angela in a moment. The ball was spilled by St Helens. The referee wants to know how it got into the arms of Oliver Gildart. They've given a try on the field.
Was it Luke Thompson that ran the ball out wide, ran it and lost it in a carry? I don't think it was stripped out. We'll have a closer look now. Gildart involved in hitting him. The referee will be looking to see. No, I think he's lost that ball. There's going to be arms around it. Players will try and lock a ball up. You've got to see if he's made an intentional grab for the ball.
Well, I think he's got his hand on the ball, and there's two in the tackle on that. He's certainly dislodged it.
You are allowed to put your hand on the ball.
You're allowed to put your hand on the ball, but there's two in contact. It's after the initial contact.
Just watch
then the
O'Loughlin.
ball pulls out.
Watch O'Loughlin's left hand in this. That's the only glimmer of hope I can offer
just to
to
make
St Helens.
just to make it clear, if you're a defender going into that tackle, you have an obligation to lock the ball up, so you will have hands on the ball. It's whether or not you stripped it out.
Well, they say that Joe Cobb says he did strip it out, and that's a mistake. We look for game changers. You and John look for game changers in every match. I wonder if this is a game changer, a spirit changer for the Saints.
Well, it's Gildart's left hand that's the issue. It's after the initial contact, and there's the pull on the ball. And, you know, I think the video referee's got that right. It was pulled out.
So Saints survive a couple of scares in the opening 6 minutes of this second half. And Greenwood gets them to the halfway line. Roby is waiting. And here is Luke Walsh.
They're trying the best, aren't they, to make a dent in the middle of Wigan's defence. And hoping that Farge or Walsh, Roby even as he darts out of there, find a way through what's been brilliant defence so far from their opponents.
He's done it so many times, hasn't he? He unlocks so many defences, James Roby. Can Luke Walsh open up this Wigan defence? So Owens gets the ball, Dawson gets the ball back, and Wilkins slides the kick in. Manfredi to the rescue. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Brilliant.
No.
Absolutely brilliant.
Well, John Wells said it's the best 40 minutes he's seen from Don Manfredi in a Wigan jersey. Well, that will just add to the highlights package. An impossible situation rescued by the winger. Bringing the ball out, making sure his team is on the attack instead of defending a goal line dropout.
He'd have to have a nightmare, wouldn't he, in the last half an hour not to be doing an interview at the end of this match so far. He's been fantastic at this point. Head and shoulders the best player on the field.
Well, I think we all know who's going on with a bottle of champagne, by the sound of things. He's 22, he can drink it. Not a problem. Saints then try to launch something from deep. A try at Warrington, Ben.
And Warrington have taken a big step towards maintaining that 100% record, Eddie. It was Ryan Atkins with a sensational take of a crossfield bomb. 500 points now for Warrington. They lead 22-10.
So 22-10 to the Warrington Wolves against the Widnes Vikings. Here, Wigan in the box seat against the Saints. And the Catalan Dragons continuing their good form on the road at Salford. Another mistake from Greenwood. Let's get down to Angela then while we have this break in play. Let's see if we can't interrupt you again, Ange.
No, he'll be very disappointed, will Kieran Cunningham, with that last part of play where the ball was knocked on. He really wants to see them completing their sets. They haven't been doing that. They haven't been scoring points. But they want to put pressure on in defence, and they think the points will come if they can do that. Sean Wayne, as you can possibly imagine, is fairly happy. They were his words, fairly happy with the score so far. But he wants to make sure that St Helens earn their field position. Really wants to make sure that they stay in this game, they'll stay ahead in this game, and keep putting the pressure on St Helens.
I bet Sean Wayne is fairly happy. 100 wins now as the Wigan coach. His fifth season in charge. Gelling eating up the ground ahead of him. McDonald stands his ground. McDonald gets the ankles. That was important. Quick play the ball though. Saints in disarray in defence. What's happened here? Penalty. Penalty. Professional foul, really.
Well, the referee thinks he just ran into him, didn't it? They've offsides with everything there. Anthony Gelling, I don't think he knows himself, does what he's going to do when he gets the ball, but great defenders. Fortunate St Helens again, there were no Wigan players around to support him, because that was a potential try once he got through the line, was up to the full-back. It's through here, isn't it? Look, skipping, twisting, turning, accelerates then. Holding the ball in one hand, it makes it look like a tennis ball as it charges forward, and there's another penalty here. Might turn into 18 now.
Oh, well, yes, Sean Wayne says let's take the two, and he's sent out the kicking tee. They're going for goal. Well, that was a nasty lift. Greg Burke felt that, I think. Just the legs come up above the horizontal here. There you are. Walmsley again. Wigan fans are singing behind the post. that Matty Smith is aiming at now.
You think back to the first 20 minutes, Brian, you said St Helens had done well, it was 0-0. But I felt at that point St Helens had had such great field position and had been unable to score that it was going to come back to them. The second quarter was clearly Wigan's, and here we had 10 minutes of the second half. A little closer, but you can't see how St Helens are going to inflict much damage to Wigan here at this point, unless there's a dramatic change in the match.
Well, that takes it to 3 converted tries. The difference. 50 minutes gone, half an hour remaining. The Wigan supporters basking in the sunshine are enjoying this in the shade. The St Helens fans all round the ground, they will be hating every minute.
The only way those fans, those Wigan Warriors fans, will be going home disappointed today is if St Helens can fire up in the middle of field through Lamatasi, Kyla Moore, Alex Walmsley, Greg Richards, Luke Thompson. They have now got to try and dominate their opposition. If not, this is an absolute lost cause for St Helens.
Here's down Sargentson. Matty Smith on the diagonal run. He finds Matty Smith. Smith is turning them inside out. Didn't panic. Took the tackle from Wilkin.
Well, that's a very unusual error from John Bateman, and another let-off for the Saints. They're still alive here at 18-0. They've been completely outplayed. But the game can turn in 10 seconds if one team just find a way to score a try. If the St Helens can get it back to 18-6, they become dangerous then. They've got nothing to lose.
Watch how slow the play the balls are for St Helens. They will have no chance unless they speed it up. This is one of their bigger men. On the ground, Wigan in control, and a defensive line set before Roby can get up and get out with the ball. That has to change for Saints.
Dawson. You have to credit Wigan for slowing them down at the play the ball. They turn them on the back. Saints can do all they want. They can try and make it a quick play the ball, but look, the way they slow them down so the defence can be set. It's great work by the Wigan defenders. McCarthy Scarsbrook now smuggles the ball back and finds Thompson. Thompson in collision with Bateman. Lee Mossop was there as well. Walsh goes high off the boot. It's a tester for Sargentson. Ball has bounced. And how on earth has that come into the arms of Sam Powell? But it has.
Looked as though they both missed it, but it was hit and hope, wasn't it? There hasn't been a lot of threat or organisation in those 6 plays. I understand when your team are under pressure, everyone's tired, things can fall apart, and it looks as though that's happening at the present for the Saints.
You're right, fellas. Dominic Manfredi is having a derby against the Saints to remember, and so too is Gildart, and so too are Wigan, and Gildart is quick, but Lamatasi gets to him. He was held up by Matty Dawson. They're under the pump, the Saints, there's no question of that, and Manfredi's waiting, he's hugging the touchline out here, couldn't get the pass away. It's the last tackle coming up here. Gelling will come this way, so will Sargentson. And they find Manfredi somehow. He keeps it alive under pressure from Walsh. This is Matty Smith. Matty Smith dabs it forward, and McDonald will pick it up. The Wigan supporters, the Wigan players appealing for penalty against St Helens for the challenge on Matty Smith after he was chasing his own kick forward. Not
through luck and endeavour, St Helens are just clinging on, but keeping alive for hope. Life in this match still possible.
Now St Helens get a penalty. That relieves the pressure a bit.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a huge crowd. I wonder what thoughts they'll go home with if this scoreline doesn't change. We've seen them win games, Eddie, and been unspectacular when they've won, but in the defeats so far this season, against Salford in front of the Sky Sports cameras and against Leeds again in front of the Sky Sports cameras, they've been astonishingly poor in those defeats, and that was the worrying sign for me with St Helens this year. They haven't been as bad today, but the scoreline doesn't look pretty.
No, it doesn't look pretty purely and simply because it's Wigan. That's good hands though from Theo Farge. It's opened up a little bit perhaps for McDonald. He couldn't get the ball away to Roby, who was in support. Wants a quick play the ball. They get it this time. Roby attacking the line. Roby still going. He could have given it to Walsh. He held on and took the tackle. And what's more, he has got the penalty because Wigan were all offside.
It was Lee Mossop who was in the way of the runner of Roby then. Couldn't get his pass out because of that. And that's what the penalty's for.
Referee having a little word with Anthony Gelling, who was leading the chorus of dispute. Tazi now will drive it towards the Wigan line. Is there anything in this for the Saints? Roby fires the pass into centre field. It's now with Walsh. Short ball. McCarthy scars. Great tackle, Bateman. Oh, the most unorthodox play of the ball, and because it was unorthodox, it was because there was a push in the ruck by Bateman. It's another penalty to Saints.
I think Santel's a little lucky. There's nobody stood behind him anyway, having not been interfered with. Roby hadn't got there. The Wigan players might have just walked around and picked it up.
So another chance then for the Saints with Richards. Roby scheming. Gets the W away. Wilkin surrounded by three blue and white jerseys. Roby again is looking both ways. Comes this side with Farge. That was good hands from him. Dawson, that's going to be a knock on. Bring it back. Anthony Gelling thinks he's on his way up the other end of the field.
Well, you've got to say, Don Manfredi's efforts here again to stop the try. It's a good pass, it appears, from Dawson to his winger. But it's a try saved again. Another try saved by Manfredi.
It's exactly what he needed to do. Exactly what he needed to do, Phil, you're right.
More action at Warrington.
That's right, Eddie. Witnesses round at the top coming to an end. Ben Curry in for Warrington. He scored for the 6th match in a row. Just squeezes in at the corner against a very tiring Widnes defence. Warrington's 100% start will continue. They lead 28-10.
And that's a 3 o'clock kickoff. We are at 3:15 the kickoff here, so we've got plenty of time left here. Theo Farge is being shepherded towards the far side by Gildart. Nickerson goes quickly in. Peru. There seems to be numbers in plenty every time St Helens try and get through this defence. Walsh trying again now. Finds its way to Dawson. Squeezing St Helens and squeezing the life out of them.
Gone side to side, haven't they? But there were more defenders than attackers there. It was almost like an underlap. They've gone back to the middle here. So much responsibility on Luke Walsh. Can he find a way here to make a difference?
Well, Will Lamatazi gets the ball back. They're asking for an extra set off the referee. The referee says this tackle count continues. Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook off the knees of Roby. No knock on. Waits for support. It arrives from Peru. Just can't get through. They just cannot pierce this really, really strong Wigan defence. Walsh now will hoist the kick high. Looking for Jack Owens. Manfredi, but that's good play by Owens. Spins him back and forces yet another goal line dropout.
Well, he might have rescued the situation here. Question mark would be whether or not Manfredi's legs had hit the ground before the tackle was made by Jack Owens. What he does well, he resists wrapping his arms around. I think Jack Owens, as you see, hasn't made the tackle until Manfredi's had contact with the ground. And he's rescued the end of that set, Jack Owens. He's had some issues when outnumbered in defence today. He'll address them, I'm sure, in the coming weeks. But it's a great play by the young winger.
The scoring records give us a hint of why this game is going the way it is. St Helens have scored 28 tries before today. Well, they've still only scored 28 tries. They've conceded 24. Wigan only scored 21 before today. Look at that goal line dropout from Matty Smith. Tremendous. But they have only conceded 14. And that's the difference. This is a very mean Wigan defence. That goal line dropout was Pat Richards-esque, wasn't it?
It was almost at this point that the Hull sides came into life in their game against Hull KR. They were behind by 20 points. About this point in the match, they managed to get the first try, and they transformed in the space of seconds, not minutes. St Helens just are desperate to find some player, to find some way of getting over the try line.
Yes, who's going to breathe life into the St Helens corpse? There won't be with passes like that, but I think it's a knock-on against Wigan.
Yeah, I think it was Anthony Gelling, wasn't it? He puts the hand out.
I think it might have been a knock on by St Helens first before he gets a chance to knock it on. Oh no, maybe not.
6 and 2-3, Stuart.
Come on, guys, let's get set.
Well, who can throw Saints this lifeline? Where is the spark going to come from?
I've been a big fan of Theo Fage for seasons, and just hope he can get close to the line and find a way. He squirmed over for individual efforts when he was at Salford in occasions like this. When his team were outplayed, they were outgunned.
I saw Lamed Hassi take a run in from that big dropout that you guys referred to. He had a 15-metre run on, head of steam up, and it's still a slow play. The ball dominated by Wigan. Fage won't fire, Walsh won't fire, Roby won't fire. None of the sparks will fire today unless they speed up the play of the ball, and it's got to come from the bigger guys on the field.
Peyrou's on his back when Bateman completes the tackle. Here goes McCarthy Scarsbrook again. But look, 4 around him, down he goes on his back. 2 peel away, 2 more just lay on for a couple of seconds. That's why it's so slow for the Saints. Good tactics from Wigan. Wakefield 36-22 against Huddersfield. Roby finds Walsh. Walsh to Theo Fage. Clattered to the ground by Bateman. Roby again. Here is Walsh. Short ball from him. McCarthy Scarsbrook. He's tried his heart out today. LMS. Another penalty to the Saints. Sean McLaughlin queries the decision. He'll change his mind, that's for sure. Amor. Again, look how slow it is. And the referee's allowing them to do that. Tazi. Again. Burke is last man up. There's Fage. Here's a chance. They're in. They're in with Greenwood, St Helens, at long last. Now then, it was exactly this 60th minute in East Yorkshire earlier on today where we saw the big comeback for the black and whites of Hull FC against Hull Kingston Rovers. Is this the moment that breathes life into St Helens against Wigan?
Well, if St Helens don't win this game, they can't say it's because they didn't have enough possession, they didn't have the field position. You sometimes hear people use those excuses. They've had lots of it. And eventually, Theo Fage has taken the ball to line, and a big man, Joe Greenwood's managed to run over a smaller man in Matthew Smith. Close to line, he's difficult to stop, he's bumped him off, and maybe, just maybe, we're going to see something special from the Saints.
Well, Joe Greenwood with the try. He played the second row last week. His first Super League appearance of 2016 was a couple of weeks ago against Wakefield. He scored 2 tries in a 44-4 victory. The 2 tries here today, and Wigan would be thinking that maybe there is a comeback on the cards. Walsh has to kick the goal. And Walsh does kick the goal. So it's 18 points to 6 in Wigan's favour.
I think if you're Sean Wayne, you prefer to see Matty Smith rush up and get bounced off by Joe Greenwood. Well, he's just a little passive in that tackle. Almost allows Greenwood just to drive over the top of him instead of trying to make some initial hard and impactful contact. And after that, if it's the big man that wins out, so be it. But at least drive into the tackle. Don't be so passive.
Now, where's the sun right now, Eddie? Can he take advantage of it as he puts it high in the air? They're under it this time.
And it's at Theo again. My heart's in the mouth. I bet all St Helens supporters' hearts in the mouth as well. He took that facing his own line and over his shoulder.
What you have to do now, if you're Wigan, you've got to snuff out any sense of confidence that might have crept back into this St Helens side. If you're St Helens, you've got to be squeaky clean in this, get to your kick at the very end and spark up. And don't let that try be a solitary event. Let that try inspire you to have a chance in this game.
Well, Kyle Amor is out there now. And Roby waits as he plays the ball. Walsh. Here is Wilkin. Since that run in the first half, Wilkin's been fairly quiet, been kept quiet by Wigan. Long pass wide, good ball too. Peyrou. Nowhere to go. Great defence on the ground from Wigan, isn't it? It really is. Sargentson gives it to Manfredi. He evades another challenge, but doesn't get away from the next three in. Holds his ground as well, doesn't go down, so there's the difference. Much quicker to play the ball. Another one. This time he is on his back, is Charnley.
But Tassie wasn't back, Eddie, that's the difference. Even if they're getting put to the ground, the Wigan Warriors players, St Helens, aren't getting a set line and unable to attack with their defence.
O'Loughlin waits as Tony Clubb gets to his feet. Joel Tompkins puts the bumpers up and tries to knock them out of the way. O'Loughlin and Smith now. Goes high. There's a test for Makinson. He took it with his back to the sunshine as well. Good take by Tommy Makinson. Went without the ball. Was it knocked out? Or was it just a slip twixt cup and lip? Well, it looks like it was just a slip. Referee doesn't wipe the tackle count down.
But as Brian has pointed out several times, the challenge for St Helens is somehow to get going forward quickly. And maybe trying to find some offloads on the back of those. They're going to have to take some chances and throw some passes here to win the match. There's no point losing by 12 and playing a conservative defence of the game as John Wilkie wills it forward. Can they play any quicker and take any more risk?
Roby to Fage. Was he inside the 40? Was he inside the 40? Doesn't matter anyway because it bounces this way to Sargentson. 16 minutes or thereabouts for St Helens to rescue this 364th local derby.
Well, it's not quiet in here, Eddie. They've got the St Helens supporters going. The home side have inspired them. They're singing and they can sense something. Whether or not it comes, we'll have to wait and see. But the players can ask for no more from the supporters here. They now have to deliver.
Tautai goes down on halfway with three hanging on to him. O'Loughlin spins the ball away. Greg Burke takes it forward 7 or 8 metres. Last one here for Wigan. Ball will go high. No, it won't go high. It'll go all along the ground this time towards the corner post, but just too long from Matty Smith. They're going to get the ball back quickly, but there are a few St Helens players just plodding back to the 20-metre line, and now look where the ball is. It's almost up to halfway. It's just gone missing the football, and Wigan are in no hurry to restart the game, obviously.
Now that's it, Eddie. This has been played at the tempo that Wigan want the game played at. Alex Walmsley comes back on again now, on for Lamatasi. He hasn't provided the spark, Walmsley. It's not to say he hasn't got time yet, but a man who had such an impressive 2015 was so important for St Helens as they went within one game of getting to the grand final. We haven't seen it so far this year at the same level that he brought last year. Here he goes.
They'll play the ball there to Roby. Now it's Theo Fage. Drops the pass off to McCarthy Scarsbrook. He evades 2. Almost evades 3. Oh, the ball comes free from
He was hit around the head and lost the ball. I think he was hurt.
And he's given a knock on as the referee.
His head, I think, went forward. Luckily, he seems to be okay. He's back up on his feet at this stage now, but he was hurt, wasn't he? I don't know if it's upper body or lower body, but there's pain involved in that.
And he lost the ball in the contact, so it's a knock on. 10 home wins last year for the Saints and 5 defeats. 2014, when they won the title, they were only beaten twice here, and that was the aim in 2016. Well, they're going to lose their first home match of the season unless they produce something special in the closing 14 minutes of this match.
Well, it took them nearly an hour, Eddie, to get their first try. Asking for 2 in the remaining 14 minutes might sound like a lot, but one try might just start. One try for St Helens might just start to drive some doubts into the minds of Wigan players.
Ball is stolen from Lamatasi. From Tulu Matautai, I beg your pardon. It was Roby who had the hand in there. It looked like a little bit of a loose carry though, Stuart.
Well, it's still got. It's the same old thing about wrapping your arm around the ball. If it's going to come out, the referee's got no option but to go with the penalty on that.
it's alright thinking about 12 points you've got to score. You've also make sure that your opponents don't score any further. There's 6 players here, 5 left now for the Saints to keep the hopes alive in this match.
Joel Tompkins finds Matty Smith, and this is Tony Clubb. He took James Roby up and off his feet then with the strength of that run. This is O'Loughlin now. O'Loughlin, a difficult man to put down, but down he goes. He's still got a lot of work to do in defence, the Saints here, with Clubb going for the line. Walmsley was on his back, Greenwood helped out. Powell waits. Here's O'Loughlin. Back it comes to Matty Smith on the former St Helens halfback. He hasn't been given the try yet. They've got a try on the field, but they want to check obstruction in the build-up.
It's Luke Walsh that's going to put the claim in. Luke Walsh gets up very quickly. He wants to try and put off any attackers. Stewart will have an opinion on this one. Walsh is the one who claimed that as he ran up to Tautai, that he was obstructed.
There's nothing there. He's passed around the back of him. He's gone on the outside. Matty Smith. Walsh is in no man's land. There's no obstruction there.
No, I'm not saying there is. It's Walsh who put in the claim to the referee. It's Walsh who has the referee in doubt.
Surely you can't have an attacker stood directly blocking where the man is, can you?
Well, you can put someone in the sight as long as you don't move towards him and block his route. And he doesn't do that there. He's stationary. He's not in the defensive line. Walsh has come forward. Well, Walsh has come forward to him. The pass has gone with a lot of depth behind him. It's on the outside of Tautai. There's no problem with this. This should be a try.
I'll say this: if this is not allowed, Luke Walsh's ploy has worked.
Well, if it is given, it will be the first try in 11 months.
There's nothing wrong with the grounding. That's one thing anyway. So I think this is going to be awarded.
The try is given to Matty Smith. First try in 11 months for him, the former St Helens halfback. Wakefield away last April, the last time he scored. Matty Smith with a 4-pointer.
Well, they start to make it a little closer, haven't they, the Saints, in the last 15 minutes, but no longer. This is confirmation that Wigan go away from here with 2 points and a big proud smile over the Easter period. They beat their arch rivals now, and that's a pleasant feeling for the Matthew Smith and the rest of his team.
Well, he only played 20 times for Saints in 4 years with this club. He played the 2010 Grand Final for St Helens against Wigan. He played the 2014 Grand Final for Wigan against the Saints. And 11 months between tries. Look at the spirited lot, St Helens. It might be 11 months. It was worth the wait, Matty Smith will tell you. And can he add it to the perfect 6 with this conversion of his own try? Yes, he can. Matty Smith, probably the crucial try and goal of this match.
Well, it's a Wigan Warriors lead and probably a Wigan Warriors win built on defence. Matty Smith goes over. Luke Walsh, I think, puts himself in a bad position intentionally, overdrawing a penalty from the referee. Well, this has been built on the defensive efforts of Wigan throughout this game, throughout the 68, nearly 69 minutes that have been played so far. Those players that go in to add 2, 3 and 4 numbers in a tackle, that extra physical effort, that lung-busting effort that you put in, try and slow St Helens down, well, that gets you a scoreline like this at the end of the day.
The ball bounces everywhere. Penalty here to St Helens.
Great kick-off restart, isn't it? They competed, the chance for possession. They've got the ball back at maybe a little late. But now, some descent perhaps here. Wigan taking the ball away.
The referee wants a word with John Bateman, and he's turned a deaf ear. Walmsley then will charge it at them once more. Roby. Here's Amor. Trying to shrug them off. Look, 4 jerseys all the time. Unhappy with Bateman's challenge. Walsh. Finds Peru. Young Nick Gregson, number 27, out there now. What a day for him. Super League debut 2 weeks ago. Here he is in the heat of a Saints-Wigan confrontation. His first appearance, of course, in this match. Farge, nice little kick through. The ball's on the ground all over the show, and Saints have got it back, and what's more, they have 6 more tackles here from right on the Wigan line. Back it comes to Theo Farge. Here is Walsh, looping past him to McCarthy Scarsbrook, who dummied 2 ways and then went down the middle and took the tackle. Roby, Wilkin to Walsh. Walsh pops the ball up. Peru. No way through for him. Roby waits again, 3 metres shy of the Wigan line. Luke Walsh. Step, trying to go round them. Wouldn't be fooled. Sam Powell. Roby to Farge! And Theo Farge gets in for the try. Theo Farge, the second try for St Helens. But has it come too late? 9 minutes remaining. 14 points now, the difference.
Well, it might not help St Helens win this match, but his competitive spirit might make a difference for the rest of this season. As the game's gone on, his team have looked under pressure. He's got more and more involved, and he's tried his hardest in this contest. He's scored a good try here. Wigan haven't missed many tackles in this match. They've missed even fewer close to their own line. The 2 they have turned into tries for St Helens. The missed by Matthew Smith in that part of the field, and then the gap there exploited by Theo Farge there. Luke Walsh has kicked the one so far. This will make it a little closer, but surely not, Eddie. Surely not 3 tries in 10 minutes.
Well, in the old days, you would say yes.
If you say that,
no,
I will
in the
throw
old
you
days,
off this.
In the old days, you would. But there's no Cunningham, there's no Long,
there's no
Tommy Martin, no Paul Sculthorpe, and no Paul Wellens. Although he's out there on the field now, rallying the troops again.
Well, here he is. Man, we've all been calling for to have a prolonged stay in the St Helens halfbacks. No Jordan Turner, and Turner Walsh seemed to have been Kieran Cunningham's preferred too. I like Theo Farge, I like what he brings to the game, and Cunningham did say before the start of the season he is a long-term project, he is a long-term plan, but he's a man who played plenty of Super League games for Salford. He's no novice, and I think he needs to be out on the field for St Helens.
And he's got a 4-year deal in the safe as well, Theo Farge. Maybe that's why he thinks it's a long-term process.
He's one of the half-backs or hookers, whatever you would like to position the play in, who's prepared to run at defenders. He scampered through that gap there and made sure that his team are going to score a second try.
The kick-off was right to the St Helens in-goal area, and look where the first tackle is completed. 9 metres from the St Helens sticks. It's been an impressive performance from Wigan, this. Walsh again. Here's Theo Farge. Spins it wide. McDonnell. That's the ball then to Dawson. Jack Owens. Luke Walsh again. Wilkin. Walmsley. Roby. He'll have a scamper. That's the pass away and takes the return. And Theo Farge again. Hope is springing eternal for St Helens. Last one though here, Owens. Roby into centre field to Walsh. Walsh is running it. Back it goes to Roby. Here is Greenwood. Now it's Theo Farge. There's Jack Owens. And well, Shannon McDonnell was in an offside position. Couldn't make a competition for this ball that Sargentson has in his hand. And Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook, his fellow Cockney, he gets to him, brings him down.
I suppose plenty for St Helens to work on. On our records, the Saints have missed 3 times as many tackles as Wigan, and the defence hasn't been good enough in the derby contest over Easter here to pick up the 2 points or please any of the supporters. Never mind their inability to get across Wigan's try line. Missed too many tackles.
Sutton will play it, finds Powell. Bateman gets to the halfway, tackle number 5, last one coming, Smith. Drills it down the line, Manfredi fancies it, but it's picked up by McDonnell.
Well, they threw the ball around Eddie in the last set, and they might as well do it now. But the only chance they have to get anything out of this game, anything that will remotely threaten the Wigan Warriors, try and offload the ball, try and pass it, but one-out carries won't do it.
Amor goes down. Tackle number 3. Here's Walsh and Greenwood. Walsh again. Walmsley. A bit high from Tautai. Referee is happy for it to be play on. Walsh spins it wide to Peru. Peru then goes further wide to Makinson. Makinson. And they ended up in touch. Where did the ball end up? It's head and feet Saints, this.
Well, I think they've got that wrong. I don't think Charlie's played at the ball at all. The ball's hit him. So I'm hopeful the video referee will come in and reverse this.
Not so far.
He has made a play at the man on the ball, Stuart. He's making a defensive play, Charlie.
Yeah, he's not playing at the ball. He's playing at the man. He's trying to tackle the man, and the ball hits him. He's going at the man.
He's putting his body in the way, Stuart. If it ends up being a kick, he's aware of the ball. He's defensively blocking the play.
But you can defensively block the play, can't you?
Well, that's what he's doing. And
if he's not making a play at the ball, then he
what's
should
the first
get the
thing you
advantage.
do, Stuart? First thing you do is go for the ball, right? The ball's a live target. The player's a live target. He's playing at both of those by putting his body in that position. If he kicks it, he's there to block it. If he runs it, he's there to tackle it.
Well, listen, the video referee's overturned it. It's a Wigan head and feed.
I disagree with the decision.
Sargentson. Bateman now. He goes down in the tackle. Well, there's an argument up here on the gantry about that decision by the referee. There was a few arguments as the scrum was formed as well between Louis McCarthy, Scarsbrook and one or two others. O'Loughlin. Last tackle here for Wigan. Matty Smith kicks over the head of Makinson. Great kick. Tremendous kick from Matty Smith. Will it run dead? Yes, it will. That's all he needed to do, though, in this situation, with 4 minutes remaining and a 12-point advantage. They look out in their feet, Saints. Is it a case of what might have been for them?
The Saints.
I'm thinking of the Wilkin break in the first half, which might have pepped them up a bit early doors.
Yeah, Phil and John pointed out that period. They came away with no points in that opening 20 minutes, but I think there's been one side in this.
The tries would have helped, wouldn't they? They put some great kicks in, but Wigan's defence was equally as impressive as the power and their aggression when they run with the ball.
Goes round the neck of McDonald by O'Loughlin. The referee disagrees with that reading of the event. So Wilkin hits it to Greenwood. Greenwood is spun to the ground in the end by Anthony Gelling. Roby. Walsh switches the direction of the attack. Wilkin left-footed into the air. Bounced off Theo Farge that, and then went forward and back off Sargentson. Walsh, Wilkin, Roby.
It's another great tackle by Sam Powell. Wigan's top tackler today. Scored a really important try in the first half, but his defence, as Brian has mentioned, has been fantastic in the middle of the pitch.
Good offload by Amor, but no, Saint was waiting for it. Now then, Louis McCarthy, Scarsbrook. Oh, I tell you what, that's been going on all the way through this match. Louis McCarthy, Scarsbrook and Joel Tompkins. Roby! Roby is halted just short. Try here, look out. Amor drops it under pressure. Great hit by Nick Gregson, that.
Well, I suppose one or two of the Sentinel supporters will go home and think, if Kyle Amor puts that down, we're a lot closer and not as bad as what we first appeared here, do we, at one stage? There's two ways of looking at this game. What happens in the last 10 minutes, though, might deflect from the game up to that point.
crack papering exercise then, I think, Phil, wouldn't be. If the scoreline got any closer, it wouldn't be a fair reflection of the dominance of Wigan throughout this game. Dominant in defence, 12 points clear on the scoreboard.
Well, I think we knew he was going to get the first Utility Man of the Match award a wee while ago. He's had a great game, Don Manfredi. And we're in the dying minutes of this match.
Here he is, the man of the moment. He's in sensational form on the right side, coupling well with Anthony Gelling. It's a deadly duo. St Helens attacked them and really went at them with the ball, but they made the right decisions in defence, and they've looked really threatening in attack.
Don't forget, catch up with all the other tries scored this Good Friday and indeed throughout the round so far on our website. They're all available for you. The highlights on skysports.com/rugby league. They're available for you to view, and if your team has won, to enjoy. If your team has lost, to hate every second of them, but have a look anyway. Last tackle here of probably Wigan's last set of 6. Still on the last. Gelling in touch. It's the turnover, and the game is just petering out now. Amore again.
Well, both teams now just have to work through this final minute and then get ready to rest, recover, and get ready for the next match.
Yes, that comes very quickly on Monday. The full programme on Monday afternoon. Wilkin was wide, and he finds Matty Dawson, and he then slips the pass to Jack Owens. Lee Mossop with the tackle. Greenwood to Wilkin to Walsh. This is the last throw of the dice by Saints. Lou McCarthy's carpet goes down. A face that is wreathed in smiles belongs to Sean Wayne and Wigan. They squoze the life out of St Helens here in the Good Friday derby. Players will shake hands. Great respect amongst the players and everybody concerned with the two clubs. To Wigan, the spoils. Don't forget, we're back with you on Easter Monday. Widnes will play St Helens at 2:45 Sky Sports 1, and at tea time on Easter Monday